Step 1. Preparation. To obtain the best possible finish, you need to learn what the professionals already know. The most critical aspect of a painting job is preparation. You should expect to spend up to 80% of the time on preparation and undercoating. Don't be too eager to begin painting. Prepare yourself for the job by reading the advice given in our boat painting guide and on our website at yachtpaint.com. And of course, read the product label instructions thoroughly before you start. Collect the tools and materials that you will need: a dual action or random orbital sander, a sanding block and sandpaper. You'll need 220 grit sandpaper and 320 to 400 grit paper. You will also need some polyethylene or polypropylene cups for measuring and mixing the paint. These are going to be better than paper buckets because they're more solvent resistant. And a roller tray. You'll need Fiberglass Surface Prep YMA 601 and Fiberglass Solvent Wash 202 for removing oil, grease and dirt from the gel coat, and you'll need sponges and cloths. For thinning and clean-up of perfection, use Interlux Brushing Thinner 2333N. Use tape for masking, such as 3M Fine Line Masking Tape or 256 masking tape for boot stripes, and use watertight epoxy filler for filling small areas of damage. For application of the undercoat and finish, you'll need good quality brushes. We recommend you use brushes with fine bird end or chiseled bristles made from badger hair or china bristle. You'll want the size of the brush to be no bigger than you're comfortable with, up to 3 to 4 inches in size for best results. In addition, you will also need a number of high-density, solvent-resistant, closed-cell foam rollers. The types with the plastic inserts are the best to choose. Do not use the grey ones. Clean new rollers and brushes thoroughly before using Interlux Brushing Thinner 2333N. Collect together the personal protective equipment that you must use for the job. You will need safety eyewear with side shields that are solvent resistant. These will help prevent damage to your eyes from splashes of paint or thinners. We recommend that you use a dust mask for sanding and a charcoal filter mask for applying the primer and paint. Finally, to protect your hands, you'll need several pairs of protective gloves that allow for sensitivity and are not going to cause an allergic reaction. And you'll need coveralls to cover your body, arms and legs. Now you're ready to begin preparing the boat. Start by removing any deck hardware, woodwork or through-hull fittings. If they are difficult or awkward to remove, you can tape around them. Peel off any vinyl lettering. Ensure all traces of adhesive are also removed. If your lettering is painted on, it can be sanded off later. Start by cleaning the hull with Fiberglass Surface Prep to remove any traces of waxes, oil and dirt. Simply scrub the area using the Fiberglass Surface Prep using a sponge or a nylon scuffing pad, such as a 3M's Scotch Brite General Purpose Pad Maroon, and wipe clean using a cloth and fresh water. Then rinse thoroughly with fresh water and allow to dry. Before you start sanding, make sure that your dust respirator fits snugly to your face and it will not allow any dust to enter. Consult the instructions on the packaging. Start the sanding work using a dual action or a random orbital sander using 220 grit sandpaper. Use 220 grit sandpaper with a sanding block to hand sand any areas you could not reach with the sander. When sanding, you want to change the sandpaper frequently and use a good quality sandpaper such as 3M Imperial or Gold. Vacuum or brush off the sanding residue. Wipe clean with Interlux 202 Fiberglass Solvent Wash. Fill any scratches and gouges with Interlux watertight epoxy filler. Clean the area that is to be filled of any surface contamination. You will also want to sand the area to achieve good adhesion, making sure that you clean the area again to remove any surface contamination. Mix equal amounts of both components thoroughly to an even light blue color. Apply with a palette knife or spreader. Overfill the area slightly and when hard, sand back to a flush finish. Now check for any small scratches that you've missed and fill them as before. Hand sand them until the surface is smooth. Vacuum or brush off the sanding residue on these areas and wipe clean with Interlux 202 fiberglass solvent wash as before. Now mask carefully around the waterline and rub rail with the tape. A tip for taping a boot stripe or taping the waterline. Use the 3M256 masking tape and walk out about 5 to 6 feet and then adhere the tape to the boat for a crisp, clean line. That's step 1 complete. You're well on your way to perfection.